Brightest blessings, everyone. Psychic medium Elizabeth Grove, the Paranormal Priestess. Welcome to the Paranormal Priestess YouTube channel, and thank you so much for joining me today. If you are new to this channel, thank you for stopping by. My name's Elizabeth. I am a medium, divine channeler, spirit extractor specialist, white witch, and divine alchemist, and I also happen to be a divine feminine on the path of ascension. This particular video is, I think, really perfect for where the Twin Flame Collective is at this point. And if you missed the messages that I had given for February, you want to go back and you want to listen to those, because I think this is just a great continuation here as to what we are going through for the month of February and how we can work with those energies. For this particular video, I want to concentrate on grounding the Twin Flame connection, making it work. How do we make it work? And the key word here is certainly grounding. Grounding something that is able to work harmoniously in the physical without this back and forth, push and pull, this chaotic ride that often people get really just unraveled in it, and people look at the twin flame journey as a negative thing and perceive it as a concept that is not based on reality or based in reality. And therefore, it's just something that people are wasting their time with, and that this is something that's just never going to work, okay? Just move on, that's it. And I have to tell you that if you are coming across that sort of information, that information is coming from a wounded place, whoever is giving that type of information out, or whatever's going on in the chat rooms or on any other platform. I want to talk about this, and I want to talk about it realistically, because the twin flame connection, the twin flame ascension journey, focus on ascension. The twin flame ascension journey is something that's very real. It's not a concept in any sort of way. Very real experiences, very much supported by the universe, and it has a primary role here on this planet to be able to bring a higher paradigm, a new template for relationship, really brings service to humanity, brings amazing third energy. I mean, the list goes on. So it's not a concept, it's something that really is divinely planned, and it's a very, very real experience that's experienced by advanced souls, ancient souls. So let's talk about the twin flame connection in the physical, and where people are getting really upset and it's eroding their faith, and why that's happening, and how can the collective work with this better. So a lot of people get very, very upset with the twin flame connection obviously not working in the physical, right? So there is a lot of back and forth, there's a lot of triggering, there's literal mirroring that's going on, and it's a mirroring of wounding. It's a mirroring of things that are disempowering, and it really challenges these two counterparts that are really one soul. But it's think of it as different sides of the coin, but it's really one coin. It's challenging those counterparts with being able to heal the past and help these two souls to evolve past all of those karmic cycles, the lower karmic cycles that have brought in all the karma, all the fear, all the disempowered thoughts, beliefs, stories, all of that. And when we come across these things in the physical, it's very jarring, and I can understand why people get very frustrated and their faith is so eroded, because they're looking at it at that 3D level and they're going, oh my gosh, this is just not working. It's extremely painful, and I don't see how it's ever going to work. I don't see the possibility of us. And when that happens, it's a very sad thing, because those are the people that are often out there, and they are really speaking very negatively about the twin flame journey, no matter what platform it is. speaking negatively about it and calling it, a delusion, calling it a fantasy, and explaining how, it's best to just move on and be free from it. And, there is so much misinformation in regards to the twin flame journey. And, when that happens, people tend to have, of course, this negative view, and they are stuck. They feel stuck. And there has to be someone to blame, right? So often it's blaming the journey, it's blaming their counterpart. And when we have a very miserable person or miserable people that are perpetuating a lot of ego-based information out there, opinions out there. And when we're in this negative view about the twin flame connection working in the physical, we're already putting limitations on it. We're already putting restrictions on it, right? Because there's hurt and pain there that has not been healed. That's when we are sitting in that trauma. We're operating from that trauma, from that hurt, from that pain, from the things that we have gone through in regards to our twin. And we hold on to this story, this belief that this is just never going to work. I can't see how it would work. I can't see how the other person would change. I can't see how I'm able to go on. There's all these different things. I'll never be happy with anyone else. And now I'm just doomed because of this twin flame awakening thing. Okay. And if anyone is going through something like this right now, I really challenge you to take a second look and to really reflect upon what's actually happening. Because I know when we're going through anger, it's really hard to see clearly. And, that would be a great time to ask Archangel Michael to just bring his sword through and just cut through any type of illusion where it's blocking you, where your fear is blocking you from seeing the truth and the reality behind the situation. So this is a fantastic idea to work with Michael if you feel like you're in this type of energy where you feel like you're being poisoned by the twin flame connection in the journey, and then it's just never going to work. Our perception of it is really, really important, and to understand that what our twin flame is showing to us is exactly what we are going through, whether we want to see it or not. And when we are having things not work out in the physical, or a twin flame is not following through with their promises, if we have these two counterparts that are seemingly stuck and not progressing and moving forward and constantly in the same old wounding cycles, there's a lot to be said of that. And that's when we are being challenged to be able to go within to make it work. So we have to understand, the collective has to understand, you can't make the twin flame connection work in the physical by doing anything particular to control the twin flame connection. It does not work. The chasing down does not work. Trying to control things and make it work according to your script is not going to make the twin flame connection work or work any faster. It really is, and you can try it, but you're gonna see that it's going to backfire. It's not going to work, because the twin flame connection, making it work in the physical, is about making yourself work, right? And where a lot of these things come in is the relationship patterns, the things that we have gone through with our twin flame, where there has been all types of pain with our twin flame, betrayal, lies, being abandoned, all this hurt and pain that we go through with our twin, right? And fearing that that's going to happen again, and not trusting the other person, not feeling safe in your vulnerability, all this, that, and to realize that that carries over from other lifetimes where those experiences have come in. And that also includes any type of karmic partner, third party, where there has been that, where that was drawn into the connection, right? And it's for the twin flames to realize that it's about doing that inner work. It's about releasing, forgiving, being able to really dissolve that trauma, so that way you don't have to go through those cycles again. You don't have to go through that pain again. You don't have to keep on going through the same relationship patterns, and those relationship patterns are truly based off of the pattern of you. What type of relationship do you have with yourself? How do you see yourself? How do you feel about your value? Do you have a distorted value? How do you feel about your power? Do you give your power away? Do you overpower? Okay? Do you have trouble letting go of people who are not good for you, situations that are not good for you? And if so, why? Do you feel unsafe? Are you afraid of being judged or rejected? Do you feel like you need to hold on to this false identity because it somehow keeps you safe? You think it keeps you safe. Where is it? Because guaranteed, if those things aren't addressed, if those things aren't healed at the individual level, it is never going to work between the twin flames, and therefore grounding or having that physical connection can't be possible in that sense if we have not gone within and really done that work within. Okay? There's just no moving on. So is the twin flame connection possible to work in the physicality? Is it something that isn't possible? Yes. But is it possible to move forward without doing the individual work? No. And that's where people often feel very bitter, very stuck, and very defiant when it comes to the twin flame path. I think this is a good question to ask yourself now. How are you viewing yourself? How are you viewing yourself? What do you think of yourself? Do you get along with yourself? Are you okay being alone with yourself? How do you view yourself in terms of your worth and value? Right? Do you have problems with yourself? Do you have habits and behaviors and things that you are still very shameful for? Are you feeling like you would not be good for anybody? Right? There are people out there that still think, oh my gosh, I'm a terrible partner. I don't want to be a burden to anybody, let alone my true love, my beloved. I can't see it working out because I have these behaviors, I have these patterns, I have these things about me where I'm not good for a relationship. I'm just not good for a relationship. I can't have a commitment. It's too much. It's too hard. It will force me to make changes that I just don't feel comfortable with making because I feel a lot safer just holding on to what I'm familiar with. It's things like that, right, that keep us stuck. It keeps things from moving forward. The great thing, though, about the twin flame connection is that even if your twin flame is resistant in making those changes, right, they're still going through the cycles there. It only takes one twin flame to be able to change up the energy between them and say, okay, no more. The issues really are with myself, and I have to look at it as that. And where I am experiencing still very negative patterns and behaviors and perceptions of myself, where I feel like I'm not expressing myself in the world because I have nothing to give, or I feel like I'm not deserving of an amazing life, an amazing loving connection, where you're feeling like I just can't let go of what my twin flame has done to me in the past, and I don't feel like they'll ever change. When you're holding on to these types of things, and you're not digging in really deep to heal them, of course, the way you're going to look at the twin flame connection, the physical or grounding that connection, you're going to say, oh my gosh, what? I don't think this is possible. I don't see it happening. Well, of course, you're not seeing it happen. We hear about ghosting, we hear about twins that make promises and then they're gone, or there's no follow through, or you guys are you keep going through the same conversations, you keep going through the same arguments, the miscommunication keeps happening over and over again, there's resistance still there. Yeah, you guys are going to be matching each other, right? So if you don't have that one person that says, all right, I'm going to change it up, and I'm not changing it up to control the connection or control my twin, I'm changing it up because I deserve better and I want to feel better about myself. I want to feel my best in my own skin and do my best in the world, and therefore I'm going to make these changes. And when that twin chooses themselves and chooses it, for the right reasons, and really sets that bar higher, what it really does, it changes the dynamic. And it gives that dynamic a chance to really transform. Because if one of those twins is transforming, the connection between you and your beloved is transforming, and it's going to get your twin to really have the awareness of what they've been holding on to. And yes, that more or less will add up to having tower moments and death moments, right? When endings happen, very difficult endings. But that's exactly what it takes to be able to transform. You know, sometimes the universe tries to give us these incredible signs, right? You know the signs. We get angel numbers, we get names, we get birthdays. You know, someone will just say something in passing, and we'll be like, oh, or you'll hear a song and you'll hear the lyrics and you're like, oh my gosh, this is so relevant right now. This is really a sign from the universe or a sign from my twin's higher self. It's for us to really pay attention to those signs and recognize them as real. And it gets us to really pay attention to what's happening so that way we can make the changes, right? And when we keep ignoring and resisting because we're fearful of what would happen if we make changes, right? Because sometimes it's just too hard to make those changes, right? Because we're so attached to our old identities. But if we keep on pushing it away, pushing our destiny away, that's when those really crashing down moments come, those tower moments, right? And sometimes that's what it takes to really see, so we can really understand, oh, you know, I've been going down the wrong road for some time, right? I've been ignoring the universe's messages that, hey, it's time to make these important changes, you know, that with toxic relationships or not living on purpose, you know, holding on to past behaviors and addictions that aren't serving, right? And so, you know, it's important to recognize that the twin flame connection in the physical is very possible, but it has to be that we are going within to make those changes and not looking to the outside to make it work, right? And the outside can be extremely interesting because, you know, I know there's many people, they want to look for these signs in the physical that their twin is changing, but you know what, that's going to be the last place where you're going to see it, because it's often that the twin is going through behind closed doors, whether it's you yourself watching this or your beloved, or maybe it's both. But behind closed doors, there's a lot of pain, there's a lot of trauma surfacing, there's a lot of emotions, there's a lot of feeling isolated, alone, abandoned, regret, shame for the past, all of these things. But in the outside world, such as, you know, on social media, it's like, oh, let me give this impression that I have it all together and that my life looks amazing and that I'm happy with my karmic marriage or relationship, and then I have no problem in the world. Everything's just awesome. It's awesome. Didn't you see my post? Awesome. I don't mean mine. I mean, you know, as an example, everything's awesome. Right? And it throws a lot of people off. Oh, they're so happy with their wife. Oh, they're so happy with their girlfriend. Oh, they're so happy with their boyfriend or their husband. Everything's great. This twin flame journey must be bullshit. I must have just sold into some kind of concept that is nothing but a cult. I have to say it the way it is, because I help so many people move forward with this connection in a positive way, and these are the things where we get tripped up, and then we start coloring the whole thing as bullshit, and then we close the doors, and then we feel stuck. And then we start just getting resentful about everything. Nothing works for me. I'm in the same thing all the time. I meet the same people. I have the same situations. Love never works out for me. It always ends the same way. I'm not good for commitment. I'm not good for relationship. I'm better off alone. You know, it's safer living in my little box. That way I don't get judged or rejected. And we just stay attached to these old cycles, these old stories, these old beliefs. So how do we make this work in the physical, twin flames? It has to begin with you and laying that groundwork. In particular, right now, I'm getting a lot of focus on, of course, it's going to be about how you see your worth and your value, right? It's also going to be about how you are able to live your life in the physical. What is your routine usually like? right? Are you taking care of things in the physical? Are you still holding on to toxic people, toxic physical people? Um, are you not taking care of your body? Are you ignoring your health? Um, are you being really challenged with making really important career changes, and you are not making them because you're afraid of how you're going to be seen? Is it really so uncomfortable for you to make those changes with your career, with what you're doing out there in the public? Because if you do, it's scary, and you feel like, I just can't do that. Like, I can't make those changes because it's just too much of, just taking a chance on the unknown, right? And it's too vulnerable for you. And, a lot of people, they have these different scenarios going on. And it's holding on to old identities and old patterns and old perceptions. And that's what makes this ascension journey so challenging, is that it's like Yoda said, we must unlearn what we have learned. And that's not an easy task, and it doesn't happen 1, 2, 3. A lot of people also get very impatient with this journey, very impatient with their beloved, and then again, they fall into the perception of this is just never going to work, and this has been a lie. And they question, is this person even my twin flame? For most people, the answer is yes, it has always been. For others, it could be a matter of someone who is a type of soul catalyst, right? Who's helped us to awaken us on their journey and help us to dig deep. But it's not a connection to last, right? It just facilitates the twin flame journey more or less. But for most people, they do usually have it right when I do the readings, that it has been their twin flame. It's just that their faith has gotten eroded because it's taking too long. It's been too painful. They're not seeing it happen in the physical. There's just been way too much drama. Person has gone rogue. They're with another partner. They're still in their addictions, whether it's sex addiction or drug addiction or buying things addiction, or just attached to false value and power. All these things. And then, people lose their faith. But it's always going to come down to your own relationship with self, and where inner child issues come in. Very, very important, right? Very, very, very important. Where you've been rejecting yourself, right? We reject the twin, we reject ourselves. We don't believe in the twin, we don't believe in ourselves. We don't see it happening with the twin, we don't see it happen with ourselves. It is always going to come back to you. Even if you don't want to see it that way, even if you stubbornly don't want to see it, you will see that it's going to come down to that. And running away from the twin, you're running away from yourself. Can't get very far. Can't get very far. You'll run into a partner that will show you where you are, but you can't run very far. They're going to show you where you are. So it's so important to pay attention, and to really pay attention to what's going on inside of your body and how you're feeling in your body and what's going on in your physical space. So, so important. If you need the rest, give yourself the rest. Pay attention to your needs. Give yourself what you need. Or are you pushing yourself too hard, forcing yourself too much? Are things out of balance, out of bounds? And you're just saying, the heck with it. I have this belief. I have to push and force and struggle my way through, because that's just what I need to do. It's everyone knows me, is they're expecting from me. Expectation. You want to talk about what doesn't help a twin flame union? Expectation. Expecting your twin to do this, to do that, to do this, because it's according to how you want, because you need to control it, or the other person needs to control it. And when things are out of control, right? It's scary. It's scary. It is scary. It is scary to break old habits, to break old templates. It is scary. But you guys can do it. And so I hope that this was really helpful, just to shed some light here. And and just to add in, I'll do more videos on twin flame physicality, but what it would take to live with your twin flame, for those who have a destiny that includes that, it's really going to take both parties being able to be accountable for their own stuff and to really look at their side of the coin and to really be able to have this open and honest communication built on trust, built on really being able to give as well as receive. Okay, and that can be challenging, but to also know that there's no such thing as perfection. Over here on earth, there's no such thing, and so we can't be perfect with balance, right? Things are always fluctuating. It's just for us to be conscious and work with that. And there's always going to be some kind of, disagreement or miscommunication that pops up, or things that are going to frustrate us, or things that are going to get us mad. But it's how we handle it, it's how we navigate it as a couple that really matters most, right? And doing so from the heart space and not from the ego control and judgment point of view. So it's so much about just being able to align with who we are and be able to operate from there and give our partners space when they need that. Okay? It's important to give space where it's needed and to be just very communicative, open, honest, and compassionate. It's a big stress on being compassionate. And this will all just help navigate all the bumpy parts. Okay, knowing who you are, and proceeding from there. So thank you so much. I don't want to take any more time up, but I hope that this video just helped to shed some light on laying some of that groundwork there for the twin flame connection and the physical to actually work, to really address what is going on and really address the imbalances within you, including your own polarities. And tending to your needs and really having the courage to make those really difficult changes, even when we don't know how it's going to go, we don't know the outcome is, and it's something that we've never done. It's unfamiliar. It's unfamiliar territory. But hey, nothing ventured, nothing gained, right? I'm going to end right there. Okay, so I hope this helped you out, and remember, from the heart of the darkness is always born the light. Brightest blessings, everyone, and I will speak to you soon. Take care.